Okay, so we are live on Zoom, and welcome everyone already to our first attendees to our another webinar from the series of subject webinars. And today we are going to talk about studying innovation management and entrepreneurship in Germany. My name is 𝘱𝘢𝘵𝘩. As always, I am a so-called co-host / co-moderator of these kinds of webinars. In other words, in simple words, the least interesting person for today, as always, as we have distinguished guests from 3 German universities who will present to you 3 programs, German programs from German universities. And so stay tuned. Quickly to go briefly through the technical details. So you can already start sending in your questions by using the Q&A button, which you can see in the bottom parts of the Zoom interface. And then either it will be answered very soon in writing form, or most of them maybe will be answered during the live Q&A session, which we will have after all 3 presenters finalize their presentations. So if your question is not answered yet, don't think that we are ignoring it. We are just saving it for later. So also keep an eye on the chat, although you cannot use the chat. However, please keep an eye on it because I will be sending some links to the programs. Also, maybe program representatives will send some links. So keep an eye on the chat because some useful information will be shared there. Now, let me take around 10 minutes, not more, of your time to tell you who is behind today's webinar. But before I do that, quickly through the agenda. So as I said, 3 German universities, 3 programs. So we start from Hamburg with Hamburg University of Technology, and we have our guest, Dr. Stephan Buse, who will be talking about master's level program in global technology and innovation management and entrepreneurship, or GTIME. Also, we have a guest from Steinbeis School of Management Innovation. It's Michael Johnson, who also will be talking about master's level program in Master Business Management, Focus Management, and Innovation. And then, last but not least, we have guests from Mittweida University of Applied Sciences, Professor Dr. Serge Velesco, who will be talking about industrial management, innovation, and business expansion. All right. So now, who is behind this webinar? Maybe most of you already know, but still, once again, it is MyGermanUniversity. We are Germany's largest database of English taught study programs. On our website, you can find over 2,400 English taught study programs, not only on master's level, but also on bachelor's level. On the left-hand side, you can see a small excerpt of our study finder, and you can see that you can also find some short courses and language courses also. And yeah, this is, as I said, a small version of study finder, but when you go to mygermanuniversity.com and click on study finder on the top left corner, you can see all of the filters that it has. For example, you can even find programs according to your scores in IELTS or TOEFL. So I mean, depending on the requirements of the program. So there are lots of filters, and I would strongly suggest you to use them. Another thing that I would suggest you is to take a look at our articles. For now, we have over 95 comprehensive articles on various topics regarding studying in Germany. For example, about fees and costs, about scholarships, even about letters of motivation, etc., etc. So on the left-hand side, you can see a bar where topics are broke down, and then you can see lots of articles, really comprehensive ones, which I think will be really useful if you take a look at them. And last but not least, also our webinars. Per year, we have over 150 webinars, and the topics, again, vary. It can be Uni Assist, it can be visa, it can be scholarships, it can be subject webinars like the one that we are having today, but on, of course, different subjects. And you can already find on our website in the section of webinars, which webinars are already planned and who is participating in these webinars, and you can sign up for these webinars for free. And I would also suggest you to open an account on our website, which is also for free. By doing this, you'll be able to unlock more options that MyGermanUniversity is able to offer you. Regarding our team, so we are based in Hamburg, in Germany, but we are in different cities of Germany, also in different countries, and not only in Germany. For example, we have our colleagues who are based in Spain, in China even, and we are also counseling in different languages, ranging from English even to Georgian. All right, so a couple of things that I want you to know about. So if you are more into English, German taught study programs, please also check out Hochschulkompass, and I will send the link to this database shortly after my presentation. But for those who are more into English taught study programs, then I would say MyGermanUniversity and our study finder should be your stop. Because here, for example, when it comes to innovation management and entrepreneurship, you can find 72-degree programs on these topics. And you can see that many of them, for those who are interested in masters, the 60 of them are in masters and 53 of them are in English only, meaning that you do not need to know any German. Of course, knowing German in Germany is always a nice idea, good idea, and right idea, but yeah. So, moving forward, for those students who are newbies, more or less, and do not know exactly what to expect when it comes to studying entrepreneurship, innovation management in Germany, I would also like to suggest you to check out the subject pages that we have for each and every subject, because there you can find some general information. For example, what are the rankings of universities that are offering these programs? What is the range of tuition fees that I should expect if I want to study this program, or some application or language requirements? So all this is generic information you can find on subject pages. Especially this is useful for newbies, and I will also send these links in the chat really shortly. Regarding the advice, yes, to keep it short and sweet, I would like to ask you not to rely too much on really quantitative metrics or one single elements of the rankings or other things, because yes, sometimes you cannot really they do not always reflect all the things that you need to know about that are important for you as for student. Or for example, I've also heard many times that I want to study in Munich or in Berlin, and that's it. So this is also not a good strategy, I would say, because by doing this, you would miss lots of great opportunities in Germany, because in Germany there are lots of cities, lots of towns which are having great universities providing really high level of education. So this would be my advice in terms of how to correctly search for programs. Another thing, I would like you to know about two types of universities in Germany. So one type is Universität type of university, and you can even control in our study finder, for example, the programs offered by on this degree offered by this type of university only. And the second type of university is University of Applied Sciences. In German, there can be some different names. For those who are still learning German, you can see that not easy to read out, but it's good training for you. And you can also find this type of programs offered by these type of universities through our study finder. I'm more than sure that in many of your countries, you do not have this distinction. And then the question arises, should I be worried about it? What is really the matter in this case? And I would tell you that I will not go now too much into details, because yeah, this is not a webinar about differences, but however, I could have a separate webinar on this. So what I want you to have as a main takeaway is that focus of universities, usually, generally, when it comes to Universität type of university, the focus is on more research and theory. And usually, again, when it comes to University of Applied Sciences, the focus is more on application and practice. If you have more questions regarding even historical differences, please drop me an email and I will try my best to be as concise and clear as possible. And yeah, let me close now with this. Again, another advice from my side. So while searching for the programs, also be a bit more flexible with wordings, because again, if you are really strict with that, you might miss out some of the programs that might be actually the best fit for you in terms of your background and in terms of your interests. All right, that was all from my side. Thanks for listening. I hope you are still with us. And now we are moving to our next first guest, actually. He's Dr. Stephan Buse. As I told you, he's from Hamburg University of Technology, and he will be talking about a GTIME program. And for Hamburg, I'm more than sure many of you, if not all of you, know where Hamburg is. It's quite north of Germany. But yes, these days it's not that hot, that cold in the north, I would say, but still it's a north. So yeah, let me stop sharing the screen right now and invite Dr. Buse to take the floor.
Okay, thank you very much, Georgi. I'm going to share my screen. And you should be able to see it, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So hello to everybody. On behalf of my colleague, Louise, who you have seen her so far, and we welcome you to this session. And we are pretty happy that we have the chance to present our master's program, GTIME. So what is GTIME? You can see it here. It stands for Global Technology and Innovation Management and Entrepreneurship. It's a 2 years program, but I will come to this in a minute and to talk about it in detail. Right? So wait, where do we have it? Okay, so who are we? So you see the GTIME program here. So we all belong to the Institute for Technology Innovation Management. I'm the deputy director of this institute. And long time ago, my colleague, Professor 𝘱𝘢𝘳𝘵𝘯𝘪𝘱 and we got the idea to develop such a program. Initially, we started in 2008. I come to this with a predecessor program. And only for the last 5 years now, we have GTIME in place. So we belong to the business faculty. And what I said, Cornelius and we are heading the Institute for Technology Innovation Management. So what is GTIME? Some of you might have already visited our homepage, but GTIME, I would say it's a pretty unique 2 years program with a clear focus on innovation management, but also innovation management and entrepreneurship. So it's a real international program. So I come to this, we're starting off in Hamburg, and then all students move on to our second year partners. So in total now we have 6 universities so far. I will present them so far, and we are dealing with what I said, global innovation management. Why do we call it global innovation management? So at our institute, we have been engaged in the field of innovation management and entrepreneurship for a long, long time. So I've got a background. I was chairholder at Hamburg University for the chair of international management. And based on this, we started with research activities and teaching activities in the field of global innovation management, because we figured out that if companies want to succeed globally, of course, they have to engage in innovation management, but also innovation management with differences. So if you want to be successful, for instance, in emerging markets like India or China, you need other skills, different skills with regard to innovation management. And this is what we provide in this master's program. Where our students are coming from, we are very proud of this. So we have students from all over the world. So very often you don't see a lot of American students in Germany. So either they stay at home or they go to English-speaking countries like Great Britain or somewhere else. But so far we have been very happy that we could always welcome students from North America, but Latin American countries, from Mexico, Venezuela, from Colombia, many other. Asia is big, from Thailand, Indonesia, China, Singapore, Colombia, and so forth, right? Africa, we would like to increase this number, but from Northern African countries, so we're pretty, and of course, we have a large number of students from Europe, including Germany, of course, Southern European countries, right? What you see here, I told you. So with the predecessor program, Master in Global Innovation Management, we started in 2008. This was funded by Erasmus Mundus. And due to this Erasmus Mundus, we were a bit limited to change in case we figured out, hey, there's room for improvement. And this is why we changed the structure and why we started GTIME as the successor program of GIM. So the GIM name is still blocked. This is why we call it GTIME. And because what I said, we have a focus on innovation management, but we integrated different topics as electives in the field of entrepreneurship. Why? Because over the last years, we have learned that more and more of our graduates are interested in starting their own company. You know, there's innovation management and entrepreneurship. There's a lot of overlappings, and we are happy that our students also want to start their own businesses, and they demanded more courses in this, and we were more than happy, together also with our partners, that we can offer for those students who want to start or at least think about starting their own business, that we have different modules in place for our students with this interest. What you see here, we were on good growth path. And then the last 2 years, so we had lower number of students. This was due to Corona because, as all of you know, especially non-European students had then problems to come and so forth and so forth. This year, next year, we will start off with 24 students. And we are very, very happy about it. And some of them have already arrived in Hamburg, so we could welcome them. So on the next page, you see also, here on Instagram, you see our Instagram account, or on the website, you can see already photos of the new cohort. So 24 students from, again, all over the world. So, and as you can see, or it was on the previous page, so we limited by, the upper bound would be 35 students. Why? Because we don't want our classes to be too large, too big, too many students. Why? We have a very interactive format. So we have different formats, and I will come to this. And we don't want to have too many students in our classes, so that we can still discuss, having interactive sessions, what I said, right? If you go to the Instagram page here, you see a lot of comments and what students are doing, what we are offering, and so forth. So let me go a bit into the detail of the first and second year. As you might know, the first year, all students come to Hamburg, start off in Hamburg, and spend the first year in Hamburg, right? So what you see here are the courses. So you have to earn 60 credits. With your orange background, you see courses like Foundation of Corporate. These are the compulsory courses every student has to take, right? Like Global Innovation Management, Technology Management, Product Planning, or in the second semester, Sustainable Innovation Management, Digital Transformation of the Innovation Value Chain. So this is also something we continuously try to improve, not only the structure, but also the content. Right. So for instance, the module for Sustainable Innovation Management, this is a rather new module. Why? It's a very trend topic. So sustainable innovation or sustainable management. And this is why we decided also in discussion with our students, okay, that we put a focus on this. And there will be a second year partner, I will come to this. So these are the compulsory courses, and then you have a large number of potential electives you can choose from. For instance, this project seminar in innovation marketing, the colleague Professor 𝘱𝘢𝘪𝘥 is offering this in collaboration with companies. So students work on real life problems for companies, so student groups of 4 or 5 students over the entire semester. They do project work in collaboration with a company and offer solutions to the companies afterwards. So what I said, interaction is very important. So proximity to practice. This is why we integrate companies in our modules, in our lectures, in our seminars. So we have guest speakers in nearly all lessons or lectures. So like the project seminar I talked about, we do lectures in collaboration with one company or with different companies. I showed you the compulsory course product planning. So for instance, with a large discounter company from the northern part of Germany, so the students, the GTIME students, developed based on design thinking aspects, for instance, solutions for problems, challenges the company is facing. So this takes place over the entire semester. And here you'll just see some national or German companies, as well as companies from India, from Great Britain, from all over the world. Yeah, like Airbus, it's not only here in Hamburg, but also with Airbus in France, we have been collaborating with. So many of our students, the GTIME students, also work next to the program. This is possible. And so the curriculum is organized in a way so that they can work. And very often we also have then collaborations with companies that the students are working for, because companies get interested in the program. So partnerships with companies during the first year, but also during the second year is very important. The second year, every student has to go abroad for the second year. But it's up to the student. The student can decide where he or she wants to study the second year. So, and this is only something what you have to decide after the first semester in Hamburg. So because then there will be Q&A sessions organized where the second year partners present themselves. You can get in touch with the students of the previous cohort, those who are or who just started the second year experience now. So you will get a lot of information and experience so that you can come up with your own decision based on a lot of information, right? What you see here, here are listed 7 partners. We have a partner university in India, in Scotland, as you see here, in Japan, in Denmark, in Lithuania, Tampere, Finland just recently this year became a partner. So the students of the current cohort, which will go abroad next year, so in August, September, they can also go to Tampere, Finland, right? And what you see here on the bottom left, there's a new partner. It's the Rijksuniversity in Groningen in the Netherlands, and value-driven technology business development. So I talked about the module we are offering in the first year, Sustainable Innovation Management. And Groningen, they have a master, it's called Sustainable Entrepreneurship and Innovation. And we are collaborating with them. So students who are interested or who want to deepen their knowledge in the field of sustainable innovation, they could, for instance, go there, right? So all the partners are very, very good, well-known international universities. Everything is, of course, taught in English. And so they have complementary offers to what we are teaching in Hamburg, right? So, but on our website, of the program's website, you find detailed information about also what they are offering, what are their core competences, what they are, what makes them special. Here are just some pictures about it, right? Where do we come from? Okay, we are from Hamburg. So Hamburg University of Technology, just some background information. We are part of the group of 10 biggest technical universities, state-owned technical universities in Germany. But we are the youngest and we are the smallest. Why? Because the youngest. We were only founded in 1978. But we are very international. So more than 25% of our 8,000 students are international students from all over the world. And we are very proud of it. Most courses, degrees are accredited by the important accreditation institutions. So for some students, this is important, right? So what I said, it's a very good university. It's a rather small university, just 8,000 students, but therefore we have close collaboration between the institutes, the professors, lecturers, and the students, right? Here are just some examples. So we have a very international group of lecturers, male and female, and so far students have never complained about it, right? What else? Your GTIME journey. What's next? So the application, the next application round period will start beginning of December. And very likely it will end beginning of March, 1st of March. It might be prolonged. There are some discussions, but right now, status quo is beginning of December until the 1st of March. In between, we will offer Q&A sessions. So we are glad and grateful for our collaboration with MyGermanUniversity so that we can organize a Q&A like this today, but there will be more. So you see here the website on Instagram, but also on the web. The website, there you will find information about the application process, the requirements you have to fulfill, right, to be eligible for the program, and information. So if you're interested in GTIME, on the website, you'll find information as well as on Instagram. Follow us on Instagram about the next Q&A sessions, then organized either again from MyGermanUniversity or from our university. Good. What else? So this is backup. I think I'm at the end. Sorry for the slide over time. Good. And I'm happy to answer additional questions later on. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Buse. And with time management, actually, it was perfect. So no need to say sorry for that. And thanks for Miss Louisa, because I don't think she will leave some questions for you because she has already answered maybe over 10 questions. So yeah.
Thank you very much, Louisa.
Thank you very much. And then we will move to our next speaker. So let me quickly share with you my screen. Okay. Yes. So yeah, we are moving now to Steinbeis School of Management and Innovation. And as I said, our guest is Michael Johnson. Michael, I also saw you were also answering some questions. So thank you very much. And he'll be talking about master's program in Master Business Management, Focus Management, and Innovation. So the floor is yours, Michael.
All right, perfect. So thank you so much, Giorgio, and thank you everybody for tuning in today to hear a little bit about innovation management. Today I'm coming to you from Steinbeis University School of Management and Innovation, which I think is actually quite cool because, of course, the study program we're talking about today is actually in our name itself. Today we'll talk about a couple of key subjects. So first of all, why Steinbeis SMI? What services do we offer to our students? What is the way we teach, etc.? Professor Buse already talked a little bit about the practical approach to education as well. Our location and key data. Then, of course, we'll go into the actual program, the Master of Science and Business Management with a focus on management and innovation. Finally, we'll come to the admission process, and all of my contact details will be given out for any questions that you might have that you've forgotten to ask. Of course, you can always reach out to Giorgio too, I'm sure, as well, and they'd be happy to support you guys. So first of all, we'll discuss then why Steinbeis University School of Management and Innovation. When it comes to us, our history goes back over 150 years. And here on the right, you can see a picture of our founder. His name was Ferdinand von Steinbeis. It's important to know that he was one of the first people to realize that if you go into a classroom and you're a university student and you spend all of your time, reading the different texts, books, writing papers, etc., but you never actually use this knowledge in real-world case studies, real-world, I would say, situations, that oftentimes this knowledge is not transferable. So later on, when you do go into your jobs, often these students have a bit of trouble kind of, finding out how to actually use the knowledge in the real world. So when it comes to the way that we teach, of course, it's important to know that we are practice-oriented. So that means your classes will take place in the morning usually, and in the afternoon, there's time for what we call the transfer projects, where you really transfer this knowledge into real-world case studies, business problems, things like this. That way, when you do graduate, you have a fundamental knowledge of how to actually use your skills from your degree in the real world. So again, in the end, our mission is really to equip our students with the skills they need to stay competitive within the job market. Important to note is that we are 100% German state approved and FIBA accredited. All of our programs are taught in English. So for you guys, of course, coming across the world, you might not have any German language knowledge. For the study program at Steinbeis, at least that's not a problem at all. You will have the chance to take German lessons if you'd like to during your studies as well. Again, all of our professors are coming from the industry itself, so they take a very practical approach when it comes to teaching. That way you get to have the kind of this inside look into the actual, business itself. I always kind of talk about this as driving a car, so to say. So you go to, school, learn how to drive. Once you sit behind the wheel, it's a little bit different. So these professors can kind of help give you tips and tricks on, how to best adjust into the actual working world. And finally, all students, and there was a couple of questions I saw relating to this as well, all students that do graduate from Steinbeis will have the chance to stay in Germany afterwards. They simply take their degree to the Foreigners Authority, and you receive an 18-month stay-back visa option in order to find a job. Furthermore, another thing that we help and we spend a lot of time and resources on, especially for international students as yourself, is the career preparation. So of course, the reason that most students study, especially when it comes to management and innovation, is because they want to kind of, go on later into a successful field, maybe at an international company, or, they want to go into a certain area. And it's important to prepare your future career goals during your studies. That way you don't waste time once you graduate. So once you arrive on the campus, we have different services for you, such as the profile analysis, where we help you to figure out your strengths and weaknesses. We'll have one-on-one coaching sessions so we can better those weaknesses, help you to build up your profile. And of course, various trainings on things like personal branding, social media, CV, cover letter. And of course, then in the end, we do help with the job search until you actually find a job. That way, you do have support, you're not completely alone. It makes the transition from being a student into a working professional that much easier. Finally, we do have many different networking events with some of our cooperation partners. So here you can see a couple of them. I'm sure you recognize some of the logos here as well. Google, for example, SAP, Coca-Cola is known probably in the smallest village here on the earth as well. So perhaps one day that would be a future employer for you as well. So what about our location and key data? We are located in the middle of Berlin. So Berlin is a very large city. It has many different middles, so to say. We ourselves are located here in the West Middle, only 14 minutes away from the Berlin Central Station. So this means for those of you that haven't, you might not have public transport at home. For example, I myself am from the United States, and the first time I ever rode a train, took a bus, was here in Germany. So for those of you guys that are kind of unfamiliar, you come out of the train station, you sit in a bus, and it takes you directly to the campus. Here at the bottom, we have a couple of pictures of the university. So here on the left is the building that we are housed in. It used to actually be a factory, but as I think Professor Buse had also mentioned before, sustainability is something that is, of course, on the rise and also important to us. So we renovated this old factory to be a university. Here we have the study center, for example, in the middle picture, where students will kind of, get together, have group study sessions, meet after class, things like that. And here on the right is just one of our example classrooms. When it comes to the location, Berlin, I would say, and of course, I guess we could start a fight on which city is, of course, the best here in Germany. I personally love Berlin because of its internationality. I think it's a lot easier for international students also to kind of adjust. So oftentimes, or I would say 9 times out of 10, the people here speak English quite well because it is the capital. They're used to having so many international visitors, etc. So the transition period is a little bit easier, I would say. It was for me, especially. And of course, when it comes to housing accommodation, things like this, the people are quite often used to conversing in English as well. So this could be something that, would help you in the end to find accommodation faster and to kind of prepare a little bit more for your studies. So what about the actual program? What programs do we have? So we're talking today about the Master of Science in Business Management. And that is the actual degree that you do receive in the end at Steinbeis University. So it's important to know that this here is the main master's degree, the Master of Science in Business Management. And we actually have many different specializations. So management and innovation, which we'll talk about in just a minute, is actually only one of 4 that we do offer at the moment. In total, the program does go over 4 semesters or 2 years. It is 120 ECTS. And the next semester start will be April of 2023, otherwise October 2023. We do have an application deadline. So if you would like to join us in April, we ask you to please submit your application by January 2023, otherwise July 2023 for the October semester. This has a couple of reasons. So for those of you guys, of course, tuning in from many different countries, it does take a while to get the visa process. So depending on your country, make sure that you do inform yourself of the visa waiting times. We always encourage our students to apply as early as possible. That way you can avoid deferring, and that way you can avoid the stress of kind of doing everything last minute, so to say. So the earlier, the better. We are a private university, so again, we do have many different services that we provide to the students, especially when it comes to the classrooms, things like this, Career Center. We do have tuition fees, so they are $5,700 per semester. Otherwise, 22,800 for the total program. We do have scholarships, of course, up to 25% can be saved off of your entire study fees. So if you are interested in a scholarship, please let us know, and we'd be more than happy to have you take part in our scholarship competition. So moving on then, what about the specialization then in management and innovation? It's important to know that this is kind of more of a generalist course. So we want to start you out with a good foundation within business. You can apply to this program if you have studied something that is not business oriented. So say you've studied chemistry, biology, English, something like this, you can always apply to the program. The first semester is basically the basics of business. So you have, strategic management, project management, finance, kind of, the foundation that you need in order to go into a corporation or company later on and be able to manage efficiently. So our basic courses definitely provide a deep understanding of all the corporate functions from, finance to HR to, the mathematical statistics area. And it is taught by people coming from the industry. So all of our professors do have experience in these areas. And as I mentioned before, they can give you inside tips into the industry itself. Again, this program is kind of more of a generalist program that is there to let you solve complex management issues. So of course, every single company is looking, you need managers really. So they're looking for people who can think complexly and problem-oriented, so to say, solution-oriented, I apologize. So again, this will kind of give you the tools that you need to look at all facets of a corporation, all facets of a company, and to come up solutions for said companies. And finally, again, we do take a practical approach to education. So when you do your transfer projects, you'll have these problems that you do need to solve. They're not always easy to solve, which again fits to the study program because we do want you to think in complex manners when solving these issues. So when it comes to, again, this year is the first year that you will spend on learning the basics, moving on to the second year. So when you actually specialize in management and innovation, it's important to know that this specialization does give you access to more job opportunities because it is more of a generalist degree. In the end, you can go into various fields, be this, working for maybe hospitals or marketing companies or universities, for example. All these different types of areas are open because you don't have, a specific area that you have chosen to specialize in, such as, data analytics or marketing. You can bring yourself in many different fields. Again, this also lets you remain competitive in the job market because you can switch freely and you're very flexible with your knowledge to use this on very many different career fields. And again, businesses are always in need of innovative managers to stay viable. Businesses have to grow with the world. They need to change in order to be competitive, to stay, competitive, I would say, over their rivals. So in general, this is a study program that will give you the tools in order to find a job that is always needed later on. So again, in the second year, you will specialize in management and innovation, and our specialist courses are really geared to give you a cutting edge in the end into this field. So this will have things such as entrepreneurship or managing the modern organization. Innovation management itself, of course, is a very large topic. Strategic management, international and intercultural management, I think today is a very prevalent class that we could talk about later on in the questions, etc. Because again, here in Germany, it's an extremely international country, and you will often within companies have an international environment. So how do you manage in such an international environment? All of these questions and more and classes will be then taught in the second year of your specialization of the program. So finally, when it comes to the admission process, so you are interested, you would like to apply, we're always happy for that. You can apply here. Everything is done digitally. So the whole application process takes place online. I can show you where to find that if you'd like here as well. So again, here, click on apply now, simply scroll to the bottom, fill out your information. It only takes about 5 minutes and you're good to go. Here again, you can upload all your documents. So we only needed them in a PDF form, and it is quite a very easy process. So you will, in order to be able to study this program, have to have a bachelor's degree certificate and your transcripts. Other than that, it is just the general, you know, documents you need to apply for any university. So your English proficiency certificate, because we do teach in English, CV and resume, a digital photo for your student ID, and again, a copy of your passport. So if you do have any extra questions you would like to contact us, you can always contact us in the following email. Please feel free to take a screenshot of this page if you would like to, you know, remember the data or you don't want to write it down. You can also contact us via WhatsApp. So here is our WhatsApp number. Schedule a personal counseling session with one of our expert study advisors. They can help you figure out what program is right for you. If you are looking at various programs, all of the information can also be found on our website here. And otherwise, again, here is the application portal. So again, I thank you guys for your attention, and I'm looking forward to hopefully welcoming you soon to Berlin, the beautiful city, the capital of Germany, and to Steinbeis University, SMI.
Thank you very much, Michael, for a wonderful presentation. And yeah, there are already a number of questions actually waiting for you. And if you would like to already address them in the Q&A, you can already do that. So thank you very much. And now let me introduce to our guests, to our attendees, our last guest for today. As I already said, it's Professor Dr. Serge Velesco from University of Applied Sciences, Mittweida. So not very far again from where we have been right now, and very close to Czech border. And he will talk about a master's program in industrial management, innovation, and business expansion. So Professor Velesco, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. So I'm the last one. So a lot of things which was already said. I can just, you know, to say it again and again, but I'm considering to do that, to make some additional stories and to have to share my own view on this. So before I became the professor, I was around about 15, 20, yeah, close to 20 years in the industry, means in different companies. I also had my own company. I was the CFO, the general manager, also used to work in Japan, was responsible for the sales and business development with a revenue over $80 million US. And based as I became the professor, I had my own view on what the program should be, and what is basically how to make the best study. And based on this, I just invade the double degree industrial management, innovation, and business expansion program. One of the questions was about why is in Germany the international so popular. I don't know about the Hamburg and Berlin, but I can speak about the Mittweida. Mittweida is a rather small city, and basically it's I don't know, it's a city around the university, or university around the city. We have in the city around about 17,000 people and 7,000 students. And the point is, it's very German, and it's also the capacity problem of to find the profs who are ready to teach in English. It's first point, and another point, it's capacity problem as well. That's why the double degree, we are considering to start just without double degree. It's most probable that we are going to start this program from September next year. Anyway, nowadays we have the cooperation partner, and I'm going to speak shortly about it, about the program itself. We are started, by the way, with Belarus and Russian university, but right now we stop this cooperation, unfortunately, due to the current global situation. Well, I'm not going to speak about very deeply about the program itself, because I think the most important thing it's about the outcome. I'm the educational dean, basically developed this program 2014. Since then, we have close to 100 graduates, and we make just market research currently. And our graduates are all in jobs, and the average starting salary of them was in their country, and majority of them stay in Germany, are 10% in average higher than all other graduates from business administration programs. And due to the fact that we are a rather small university and we are not the TU Munich or Freie Universität Berlin, nevertheless, I think it's just the achievements itself. And the point is, if I'm looking on my own career, there are three things which we should take out of your study. It's basically the brains, it's the program itself, it's models and so far, and so it's models, knowledge. The point is, if I'm looking on my own study, so it's close to 40 years ago, I'm 35. If I'm honest, I'm using almost no one methods that I teach or learned about. That means that the life cycle of the knowledge itself is basically within 10 years, there are new models, new ideas, and so far. It's basically not as, it's very important to have the ability of the learning, but it's not the ability of, it's not the knowledge, the fact itself. The second point is about the degree. So right now we have the double degree, so you get it twice, but the degree itself is just confirmation that you learn something and you know something, and you don't need it, or other way, you need it just 2-3 times in your life if you start in the new job after you graduate, and if you looking for the new job, but it's also there's maybe the first or second change after the 10 years in the praxis. No one really interested in your diploma, but everyone is going to be interested in your experience and what in your achievements. And the last but not least, it's the networks. And the networks, it's I think the most valuable things, or one of the most valuable things. And this is where basically and the point is, it's became stronger and more important during your career. And we basically address all these three topics within our study. So it's how we address the knowledge. I prefer always to say this quote of the Albert Einstein: "The education is not the learning of facts, but the training of the mind to think." What does it mean? That half of our profs, basically, they are not profs of our university. It's basically either my former colleagues or it's colleagues of other profs, and all of them are in business right now. So that you are going to teach by the CEO of the one of the biggest worldwide certification company, PSI. There are project manager from who are right now the huge project on Volkswagen. We have the business owner who are right now running the business with around about 100 people in Chemnitz, and so far and so on. It's a half and the half of our profs, right me, but also our profs from our university are all of them out of praxis. The second point, this was already mentioned, diploma itself. So you are getting 2 diplomas if you want, of course. Of course, we are taking care about the Master of Science. It was a question what kind of the diploma you get, Master of Science from our university. And the last but not least is about the networks. And it's exactly the point. It's not just the networks between your colleagues, but it's the strong networks with the profs, with the teachers, or profs and teachers, with the people who are coming from business, who are basically right now are on the top positions, and you are going to do something wrong if you're not going to have the small talk in between, not just during the sessions, but we organize in the grill party, and a lot of, basically, because the Mittweida is very, very small town, and because it's just campus, you have a lot of interactions with the teaching staff, between yourself, and we are taking care that it's as intensive as possible. I have to admit that right now the Corona was hard time for us, because I would say, if I'm honest, that these 2 years the value of the program was just the half. Right now we are back on track, and we are starting this again. How you design how is our program right now designed? So the first semester, you have also to apply abroad to our partners. One of the partners we have in Almaty in Kazakhstan, right now in Bulgaria and 𝘗𝘓𝘳𝘓𝘓, and in Odessa in Ukraine. Don't be wonder, it's the online program. So we are right now have the agreement that you are not going to go to the war, to the Odessa, but you are able to to make this basically as a distance learning course, also with help of the Mittweida University. The second semester you're coming over to Mittweida, and this is the major semester of really teaching, with a lot of business cases, with a lot of interactions with the companies, and so far and so on. The third and fourth semester, it's already it's basically where you're already on the company side. So the first semester, it's research program, or otherwise we can call it an internship. We are helping you to find the proper internship. Most of your colleagues doing it in Germany, but there are also some who are doing it. We had the students who went to New Zealand or to Japan, to India, and so far and so on. And the fourth semester is also reserved for the master thesis, which in almost 100% are done on the company side. So basically, physically Mittweida, the majority of you going to be just one semester, and all others going to be somewhere else. Requirements you can find it on the internet, because I'd like to be on time and try to a little bit have some time for the leave some time for the Q&A session. That's why all formalities you will find on our internet. Don't hesitate to approach my mobile phone and my mail. Normally I'm answering within 24 hours, but I'm just sending you to one of my assistants, which are happy to help you in all kind of questions, not just during the admission, but for basically, I would say that it's long life connection. So I'm still in contact with my graduates, and meanwhile, it's also the graduates who are taking my current students as internships, and it's basically we have a very close alumni community, which is taking care about our current students as well. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me, and I would suggest that we come into the Q&A section, because I think it's the most interesting one, and where we can answering your question, what you should supposed to have to all three of us.
Okay, Professor Velesco, thanks a lot for your presentation. And yeah, I mean, I exactly was expecting to finalize at 55, and we did it even several seconds earlier. So great, thank you very much, and very well noted. So now it's better to go to the Q&A session, and thanks to our guests who already participated there, because lots of questions are answered. But I was monitoring the questions and took some general questions that might be quite of interest to everyone, because some students cannot read the other responses to their colleagues. So one question was regarding the weight of the GPA. What kind of the weight does the GPA have when the student applies to one of your programs? Let me start maybe from Dr. Buse. Maybe he would like to answer this question.
GPA grade, it depends where you're coming from. If you're a non-European, European student. So, for instance, non-European students, our admission office looks at the bachelor's degree, then they look at the average marks or degrees from the respective country. And you have to score, you must be part of the top third in your country, if I see it correctly. Right, so. But it really depends. So it really depends from where you are applying.
Yeah, thank you, Professor. And just one note, also when it comes to GPAs, when you see the GPA requirements generally when it comes to Germany, don't be confused if you see, for example, 2.0, 2.5, or 1.5, which is rare, quite rare. This is normal. Don't be afraid. In Germany, system works on the contrary. So 1.0 is the highest mark that you can get, while 4.0 is something you don't want to get. So yeah, just to put you on the same page, and I will quickly share also the link to how you can convert your GPAs. So now, Mr. Johnson, would you like to add something on it from your side?
I would say we have a similar factor as well. So it really depends on where the students are coming from, because the educational standard varies, across country, across continent, etc. So we do have various grading scales depending on which country the applicant is coming from.
Mm-hmm. Good to know. Thank you. And Professor Velesco?
Right now we are running just double degree. It means that you apply not to our university, but to our partner universities. And that's why the requirements is up to them. If you are starting what I expect from the 2023, then it's going to be, I assume, similar to you guys, something, but it's too early to speak precisely.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. Thank you very much. I see one question came.
I think you muted yourself.
Sorry, you see, it happens also to me sometimes. Sorry. Yeah, I see now there's a question regarding this topic, and before that there was also one question regarding this. So regarding the English as a medium of instruction, this is always a very popular question. So if I taught my bachelor was totally in English, do I still have to go through IELTS or TOEFL, or is it enough as a proof of my English language skills? Let's now start with Mr. Johnson.
Yeah, sure, gladly. So the way that we see this is, if you are coming from a country where English is an official language, then you can definitely apply for a waiver. So then as long as you provide, your MOI in general, then it's not a problem at all. So this is US, UK, Australia, even Nigeria, for example. We do have an admission interview where we will make sure to test the applicant's English skills to make sure that they can be successful within the program. But in general, if you are coming from some of these countries, then you can be provided with a waiver. There is one exception, however, and that is unfortunately India. This is due to the new embassy rules that will be in place. So in order to receive your visa in the future in India, you will have to provide an IELTS exam, and therefore for us as well, you will have to show that you have an IELTS exam when you do your application.
Yes, for Indian students, also take a note regarding the APS rules that are coming now.
Right.
So this is really important. And yeah, thank you, Mr. Johnson, for mentioning this official English language, where the English language is official, or for native speakers, because sometimes there is a difference from programs, because even if you come from Ghana or Nigeria or India, yes, you speak English in these countries, but in many programs, they still require you to provide with the certificate. And now let's move to Dr. Buse, because there was also a specific question to GTIME. So if the student also, in addition to this, has IELTS general score of 7.0,
this would be sufficient.
Yeah,
it would be with this score, no problem. So for us, the same rules apply, like what Michael just said, right? So if you're American, Australian, whatever, you don't need even a waiver. So you just say, okay, this is my passport. For instance, if you have an IB, or if you have, if you graduated from an American or British high school, if you have a high school diploma from the US, for instance, but you are Belgium or whatever, so this would also make you eligible, then you would not need an English certificate, right? Because, but for all others, they need it. And an IELTS score 7.0 would be sufficient. It's also listed on the website of our program. So what kind of English certificates are required and what would be the minimum scores you have to show.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor. And now for Professor Velesco.
The same answer.
Okay.
The formality you always find on our internet site, and otherwise just send the request and we are immediately check whether it's needed or not. Basically, there are some exceptions, or even a lot of exceptions, which are possible, but there are some formalities, and the formalities right now to give the general answers about the formalities is almost impossible. To approach directly, we check and give the answer.
Yeah, this is actually good advice, dear attendees. Please, I also see that some ask you what is the minimum IELTS score. All this kind of factual information is always really nicely put on the website of the given program, so you can go and check it there. And there was a question regarding Pakistan, and I suppose, yeah, again, for the Pakistan, the same rules apply as for other countries that I mentioned before and the professors mentioned before.
If you have for Pakistan, we have a couple of students from Pakistan and India. So at least for the last year, if the diploma are done in English, the bachelor, then it's basically you don't need to have the IELTS.
Okay.
Depends on the study what they make.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, this is answer from Professor Velesco for you. So you can be safe in this regard. So next question regarding the limited places, which is a good question. So so-called numerous clauses. So do your programs have this? Are there any limitations or there's no admission restrictions? Let's now start with Professor Velesco.
Difficult question, because once again, we have the double degree agreements with our university, and right now we don't have any limitation. We take all students which are have a successful study in the first semester. So lucky us, we don't have the headache with this question so far. If we are going to start this program next year, we are going to consider it. Most probably we are going to have some limitation. But it's not going to be so. It's, if I'm honest, I don't have the experience about it, so I don't know whether how we are going to do it, because indefinitely we have the capacity program, and on the one side, on the other side, we would like to have as much as possible applicants that we can make choose the best one, and we are trying to have to basically to give the opportunity for all of students to have the nice experience with Mittweida.
Yeah, thank you very much, Professor, for your answer. And let's move now to Professor Buse.
Can you repeat the question, please?
So the question was, are there limited places when the applicants, for example, do you accept only certain amount of students per semester, or there's no limitation?
We stated that we have upper bound 35 students. So this year, what I said, 24 will start next week. So I think next year we will have a growing number, but we will not reach the 35. I don't think so. So yes, there is an upper bound limit, but I do not think that we will reach it next year.
Yeah, as long as the applicants who were today interested will not apply all of them. Yes, yes.
I have heard something. Just we have the other program in applied mathematics, and right now they have the limited. They open for everyone, and right now they had from now just for once in this year 600 applicants. and they're in trouble. That's why I'm very, very curious to answer very directly. So we have, I think that every one of us have the physical limitation because of the profs and so capacity.
Yes.
And this is where we, all of us, balancing basically.
Yeah, true. And Mr. Johnson, would you like to add on something from your side?
Yeah, sure. So we don't have an official limitation. Of course, if we do have many students coming into one program, it's important that we keep the class sizes small. So the only limitation would be that we run 2 parallel classes, so the same class and, and just an hour later, etc. That way the classroom atmosphere is still kind of personal, so to say.
Yeah, fair enough. Thank you very much. There are 2 more questions that I would like to address with you, dear guests. So regarding the scholarships, lots of questions are coming regarding scholarships. Just before I ask you to comment on this, whether your program offers any scholarships, I would like to say that in Germany, there are lots of public foundations from where you can also get scholarships, depending on where you want to go or which program you want to choose. I'm addressing now the attendees. I put in the chat some popular scholarship opportunities that are available to you to come to Germany. For example, I also came to Germany several years ago as an international student, and I won the DAD full scholarship. So this is option for you as well, because I was also from non-EU country. That's why you can check it out. I will once again put it in the chat. However, before that, I would like to address our guests. For example, let's start with Mr. Johnson, whether there are any specific scholarships from your program side.
Yeah, definitely. So we do provide scholarships to students with a special academic background, especially good IELTS certificate, for example, through the Steinbeis Foundation. The maximum amount you can receive is 25% off of your entire study fees. So it's not just for the first year or the second year in the case of the master's, for example, it is the entire program. In order to apply, then of course, if you do apply to Steinbeis SMI, you will be then talking to your personal study advisor. So this is one person that really helps you with the entire application process. If you are interested in applying for a scholarship, just simply, talk about it during the admission interview, and they can give you more details on what the entire process holds.
Great, thank you very much. Professor Velesco?
We are public university, so we have the studies free of charge.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have the specific scholarship from the study from university, but we have a lot of scholarships which maintained by our international office. It depends on, so we are applying for, beginning from the 𝘱𝘢𝘵𝘳𝘵𝘪𝘴𝘪𝘯𝘨 to the working with us very closely with 𝘗𝘢𝘪𝘵𝘯𝘪𝘱. We have, of course, Erasmus program, we are working with DID and so far and so on. So, but it's you have to apply, and the opportunity to get possibility to get the scholarship are huge. We are also right now, I'm starting the program where you're just starting collaboration with the bank, where we considering to offer not the scholarship but some kind of the loan for the students. But it's also because of the free of charge, we are speaking just about the living costs. And it's again the advantage of Mittweida in comparison to Berlin and Hamburg. We are rather it's much more cheaper to live in Mittweida than elsewhere in Germany.
Yeah, might be true. Yes,
it's true. It's easy and cheaper.
Yeah.
But if you would like to have a fun, you go to Berlin or Hamburg or Munich.
Yeah. Oh, the really useful comments for future students. Thank you.
The saving which you save on the life, you are spending in Berlin or Hamburg.
True. This is true. And yeah, Professor Buse, from your side regarding scholarships.
So THH does not offer scholarships as a public university, but what we do as the program managers, so in the past years, we had companies which offered scholarships, a limited number, to GTIME students. So we also every year we are trying to collaborate with companies so that they cover the 𝘗𝘀𝘪𝘺 costs, right? So this is what we're doing. Many of our students work next to the study. So they work, let's say, 10 to 15 hours per week, sometimes just one day, to cover not only the tuition fee, which for an entire year is 6,500 euros for the GTIME program here in Germany. But then you also have the living expenses, which are quite high in Hamburg, like in Berlin, it's the same, I would say. But so many of our students work next to the program. Some of them work for us as student assistants, but we are also collaborating. We have been collaborating with companies who have always offered them jobs, and they're happy to hire GTIME students, and then also later on sometimes for the master thesis or offer them a job afterwards. So an indirect way to finance the program.
No, actually, yes, Professor, you wanted to add something?
This is exactly the point, because it's in the master study, if you cannot cover after the 3 to 4 months in Germany your own cost, you are doing it's a wrong study for you.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was a really nice advice in terms of working as a student. Also, there are lots of opportunities as a student assistants, etc., etc. So it's really great in this case in Germany. All right, so last but not least question then, and we can call it a day because I received this question several times specifically for each program actually. Is there any age limitation? For example, the latest question was for Mittweida, if I'm 35 years old. Okay, you can see that there no answers from everyone's side, and yeah, clear answer to this. Thank you very much, dear guests. Okay, and last, there are some questions, the general ones. Sophia, as I said, for full scholarships, you can check out the article which I've just shared on our website or in the chat. Please, there is a lot of information there regarding the blocked account. You can also check our article regarding the visa, and more articles on this is on the way. You can say it here. There are some ways to avoid providing blocked account. Yeah, if you have a full scholarship and if you have a letter of guarantor from German citizen or resident, then you don't need to provide blocked account. Otherwise, you will have to provide it. So all the details are provided in the article. I hope it will be useful. If you have any questions, please send us email. And Professor wants to add something.
That's exactly where we're working right now with the bank. We are trying to basically that they are making this guarantee brief for our students, and I hope that I can solve this problem for 2023.
Yeah, would be nice. Thank you, Professor. And last question regarding the whether you can in general change if you have different bachelor and do the different masters. There are some programs and the non-constitutive ones in German, quite a lot of them where you can do this, and you can find, for example, all the programs on our website as well in our study finder. So that was all. Thank you very much to our attendees. Thank you very much to our guests for answering all the questions, for these great presentations, for students also for staying with us and for asking so interesting questions. If you would like to give us feedback, you can do it on our Facebook or Google, in which I already provided direct links to the feedback, so that we can see some of you if you have any concerns or any praises, hopefully. And then, yeah, thank you very much for watching. If you have any specific questions to the programs exactly, you could see that all of them provided basically you with the direct contact details. You can get in touch with them. If you have general questions to us regarding studying in Germany, also please feel free, and here is our email, info@mygermanuniversity.com. So that was all. Thank you very much, everyone. It was a pleasure, and I hope to see you in our future webinars as well. Take care and bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.